Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comments below if you're so motivated to do so. This is Wonders of a Black Woman. Well, Joe Biden has decided to go on and pass the torch and drop on out. And he's passing the torch to Kamala Harris. The issue with that is it could be an open convention where a bunch of people can throw their hat in the ring and decide they want to run. So it'll be interesting to see if she's the last one standing and will be the one that goes against Donald Trump in November for the 2024 presidential election. We're getting a lot of mixed reviews about this. We have reviews that people support her being the one that the torch is passed to. We have people that are saying that no, they don't support it. They want to get rid of Biden and Harris and just totally start fresh and get someone new to run against Donald Trump. The issue that some people are having is that Harris was polling below Biden before the debate in a potential matchup against Trump. After the debate, in the more recent polls, they're saying that she was polling a little bit higher than Biden in a matchup against Trump, but she still is losing to Trump in the polls. Now, she has the opportunity, if she is the nominee, to make up for that deficit by campaigning. Obviously, Joe Biden was not able to continue to campaign. He was, in essence, publicly drugged, publicly humiliated, with so many people from his own party saying that you are not fit to run for office, and some saying that he should even step down now. The issue that I have is these people knew all along that he was in cognitive decline. Instead of them hiding it, they should have had a real primary where the millions of registered Democratic voters would have had the opportunity to choose who they wanted to be their presidential nominee. But with the convention, only the super delegates are able to vote for who they want to see move forward against Donald Trump in November, to see who they want to be the Democratic Party's presidential nominee. Some people are a little butthurt about that. They feel that it's the elites deciding who gets to run for president. Let me know what you think about that. Are you excited that Kamala Harris is the potential presidential nominee? Will you be voting for her? Will you choose not to vote for her? Will you be voting for Donald Trump? Are you voting for Robert Kennedy? Or are you just going to choose the couch? The only thing I could say about those who are choosing the couch, I personally think that you should still vote. If you feel uncomfortable voting for the president, there are so many down ballot races of people that are going to actually affect you on a local level that it would be worthwhile just getting them cheeks up off the couch and voting for that if you feel uncomfortable with voting with the choices that you have for president when it all comes out in the wash. How do you feel about Joe Biden dropping out? And do you feel that he was publicly shamed and humiliated and forced out? Rumor has it that the donors just simply said they weren't giving up any more money. And after Joe Biden's performance in Las Vegas, where he made some gaffes, and then they're saying that he has COVID with symptoms. Someone is a healthcare professional, somebody who has COVID with that's symptomatic. They usually have on a mask, or the people around them have on masks. As you saw, Joe Biden didn't have on a mask. No one around him had on masks. Even the people that were with him coming off the plane, people that were riding with him in the car. So that led to speculation that he had a fork in him. He was done then. And the whole COVID thing was just an excuse to pull him off the trail. Now, I was reading over the weekend that Hillary Clinton may want to pop her boobs back up in the ring and run for president again and do a do-over against Trump. Now, a lot of black women that are hardcore Democrats have been saying, we're going to blow up the party if it's not Kamala Harris. And then that led a lot of people to say, no, you're not. You're going to vote blue no matter who, because you don't want Trump anyway. And even if the Republican nominee weren't Trump, you still would be voting blue no matter who. So if we don't choose Kamala, you're still going to vote blue. So you don't have any leverage. So it really will be interesting to see who the Democratic presidential nominee will ultimately be. Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom. There was even talk of Maryland's governor, Wes Moore. If Kamala Harris is chosen, who's going to be the running mate? If someone else is chosen, who's going to be that person and who's going to be that running mate? This has been a non-traditional presidential campaign season. So many twists and turns, from President Biden's obvious displays of cognitive decline. And I can comfortably say that because people that are closest to him, that are working with him, the Chuck Schumers, the Pelosi's, the people who would know, is coming forward saying, yes, you are unfit to run for president. You need to step aside. And some people are saying that he should step down as president right now. So obviously they would not be coming forward and saying all of this if they really did not see and hear what we in the general public have not been able to see and hear. Even though Joe Biden was showing significant cognitive decline, to the point where so many of his Democratic Party elected officials were willing to put their name out there and ask him to resign and step aside, majority of black people were still willing to vote for a man that was cognitively impaired. Many black people were still willing to vote blue no matter who, how sick, how crazy, how infirmed. That's how loyal black people have been to the Democratic Party. So, do you think that hurts Kamala Harris's chances of sliding right on into Joe Biden's warm seat? Do you think that that is going to affect the potential open convention that's going to be in August in Chicago? It's also going to be very interesting to see how those who plan to protest the open borders that has affected Chicago, how it's going to affect those protests in Chicago. We all know that Kamala Harris was titled the border czar. She was assigned to look after that border. She was assigned to handle that situation. And she did come out in a press conference and said, don't come. That was her solution to the issues that were going on the border. She had a press conference. She told them, don't come. So it would be interesting to see how she handles the criticism of what has happened with the border. It would also be interesting to see how she handles the criticism of the Black community, of those who have fallen away from wanting to vote blue this time in the presidential election, because they feel that they did not get anything from this Biden-Harris administration, and they feel that Kamala Harris is going to continue in that tradition, not doing anything for the Black community. She recently did a festival where Steve Harvey was telling the audience, in essence, basically, don't ask her to do anything for you. She's not going to just go vote and get them reelected, and that's how you play the game. Well, Black people have been voting and voting and voting and voting in just about every election since we were allowed to vote. And, I think that more and more Black people are expecting tangibles. So it will be interesting to see how, if Kamala Harris or whoever the new Democratic nominee is going to be, how are they going to handle those objections? Because that eroding of the Black vote is very, very detrimental to whoever the nominee is. Let me know what you think. Are you excited about the possibility that Kamala Harris could be the next Democratic nominee and possible president of the United States? Or are you not really all that enthused? There are some people that are super excited, and there are some people that's not so excited because they're saying that Kamala is not ADOS, that she's not really fully Black, and all of these other different things, that she's not going to do anything for Black people. Some people just like the aesthetics of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. But again, Joe Biden has decided, after a humiliating, grueling, public humiliation, I personally did not think he was going to drop out, because that basically would have meant that Trump beat him. Trump beat him off the campaign trail. So I was not expecting that he was going to drop out. I was expecting old Joe was going to burn it down on his way out, that he was going to dig in and refuse to leave the campaign trail. But surely I was wrong. He has decided to go on and drop out. With all of the protests, there were a lot of protests over the weekend right in front of the White House. People banging drums, singing, dancing, insisting that he drop out. More and more Congress people were piling on. Senator from Virginia had piled on and just said, Joe, drop out. The donors, big 6 to 7 figure donors, were saying, we're not giving the Democratic Party and any of their candidates another dime until Joe Biden is off that ticket. So we'll see. And at the same time, a lot of the Democrats are upset that they didn't have the opportunity to have a real primary. Joe Biden has been showing cognitive decline for a long time. And if they had a real primary and encouraged real candidates to step up, they would have had the opportunity to vote for who they wanted to be the presidential nominee. Instead, with the convention doing, in essence, what is like a primary, only those super delegates are able to vote for who the next nominee is going to be. So the Democrats have definitely made their bed. They have to lie in it, and they're going to have to go for whoever the super delegates choose in the convention to be the nominee. This is Wonders of a Black Woman. Thank you for watching.
Well, you think they could give us some money? No, huh, man? I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there. I'm sorry. I know I ain't coming back next year.
And all that he's saying, she laughing about it. She think it's funny. You know, she agreeing with everything that he's saying. And you know what? Like I said, everything that he said, if you listen to the talking points from the Democrat Party, like that's what they normally say, though. He didn't say nothing that really out of what they normally say. So the Democrats, when they poll Democrats, forget Republicans. We know Republicans on paper do not support reparations. We know that. But the Democrats don't support it either. Only 47% of Democrats support reparations. 47%. That means more than 50%, 53% of Democrats do not support reparations. 53%. So how is it going to vote for Democrats is going to get us closer to reparations when 53% of them are against it? And it's a little bit more than, 75 to close 77% of Republicans say they don't support it. What's the difference? Both parties don't support it. Because both parties, which y'all have to understand, you can't get caught up on this Democrat and Republican thing. That is the biggest thing you should never get caught up on. You have to think white supremacy. Democrats want to uphold white supremacy. Republicans want to uphold white supremacy. And they both agree that in order for white supremacy to survive, you have to stay at the bottom. They both agree on it. They just believe it's two different ways of dealing with black people. One want to be upfront with it, you know, and wild out. We talking about the extremists, of course, in the Republican Party. I'm not saying all Republicans are extremists. Not saying that. I don't need to get a bunch of emails. They got some Democrats that are extremists too, but the rank and file Democrat believe in the status quo. More of your moderate Democrat, they want the status quo. They want things to be quiet. And the Democrats actually lull black people to sleep, because the Democrats and what they have done and how they operate on their plantation is that, no, we got to let some black people participate and give them the illusion of inclusion. We got to make them think that they're progressing in the system, or they're going to rebel. See, that's the argument that the Democrat white supremacists have with the Republican.
So it'll be interesting to see how these objections not only are overcome if there is a nominee for the Democratic Party that is either Kamala Harris or some other person of color, but they're going to have to answer for a lot of the black voters who are pushing for reparations, who are pushing for tangibles, that are willing to show Republicans that they're willing to play ball with them because they think that maybe if the Republicans see that they're willing to vote for them, that they're going to get them to move a little bit on some black issues. You're going to get some Democrats who are going to move on black issues. So there's starting to be, it's not an even split like you may see in the Asian or the Hispanic community, but you are starting to see that chipping away of partisan politics in the black community. So we'll see how this comes out in the wash.